Welcome to this special Today's Homeowner podcast, where we're reopening the door to the Cuppersmith Project. The Cuppersmith Project was an extraordinary renovation of a 1926 English Tudor home in Mobile, Alabama. We taped 13 episodes of the Today's Homeowner television show and captured the entire process, including the awesome decorating by the Better Homes and Gardens team. We thought it would be great to revisit some of the key members of that team. Hey, with me now is Kit Selzer, who's the Senior Remodeling and Projects Editor, Better Homes and Gardens at Meredith Corporation. Kit, you've been doing this for a long, long time. Are you about to get the hang of it?
You would think I would by now.
Well, it's been great knowing you over the years, and boy, I can always rely on our conversation to really, to really look at trends and to look at some of the things. It's kind of cool when we meet and go, well, what are you hearing? And what are you hearing, Danny? It's kind of great when we can kind of share those ideas about what's happening in the home space.
Absolutely. It's just fun to see where we have trends in common and what we think is coming down the road. But you've been a good Better Homes and Gardens friend for a long time, Danny.
Well, I appreciate that. It's just always exciting. And of course, look at us right now. We've been doing this for a lot of years, and it's still fun. It's still exciting to talk about things. Tell us about your role right now at Better Homes and Gardens, a gigantic magazine, an American institution. What's your day-to-day like these days?
Well, as the remodeling editor, I'm always on the lookout for great renovation projects to share with our readers, and that's whether they're professionally done projects or do-it-yourself projects. We're seeing quite a rise in that, and we just like to be able to share that kind of thing with readers and give them ideas and inspiration for their own homes.
Well, one of the things that we've had such success on the Today's Homeowner television show is not only keeping it realistic, practical. People really are returning back to that a lot more, but it's amazing to us that we will do some of the simplest little projects and get the most attention for that. We get so many people that will just go, I had no idea when I saw you do that. I realized how easy it was, and I've done it myself at my house. So when you're empowering people and you hear people comment about that, that's pretty cool. I'm sure you get the same type of gratification through the pages of the magazine.
It's so true. I think we forget that people haven't done all of these things in regards to home improvement, and they just need a little bit of inspiration and maybe just a little bit of encouragement to figure out that they can really do a lot to improve their house.
It's amazing to think back on us working together on the Cuppersmith Project 10 long years ago, or 10 short years is what it really feels like. And but what a great collaboration. First of all, one of the things that drew me to that particular project is everybody, it seems, has a little bit of romance with a English Tudor home. Everybody just seems to like the look of a home like that.
Absolutely. A little bit of that classic touch.
And then to be able to take that and have that traditional look in a home, and then to do a lot of the, at that time, very modern approaches to that home. But I think back on some of those things and looking back at some of the videos that we've done there, some of the things are still a very strong trend today. Great example of it is the outdoor living space, to try to blend that indoor space with the outdoor space. We did that very well at Cuppersmith, but I'm sure you're seeing a lot of those projects that you're approaching right now as well.
We really are. We think blurring the line between indoors and out is super popular. And the idea that you used with the screens is still a good one. And we're also seeing the use of retractable doors that practically disappear when they're open.
Well, actually, I just finished building a new home about a year ago. I was in my previous home for almost 30 years, and I used all those things in my new house. I have the big accordion doors that open up. Matter of fact, it's a beautiful day right now. I have them completely wide open and letting the beautiful weather in, and then I have the retractable screens that actually allow me to. I have about 650 square feet out there. Actually allow me to heat and cool the entire space with a separate zone of my heating and cooling that go out there. So that little bitty porch that we did there at the Cuppersmith Project, I've done the exact same thing here 10 years later, and it works great.
Well, that sounds wonderful. It does. It sounds like you've got a great indoor-outdoor connection there.
Yeah, it does make a difference. And one of the things I see a lot of homeowners, and we encourage a lot of homeowners, is that they don't have to create this wonderful paradise in their backyard all at one time. There's so many ways that you can, plan your master plan, but then, just start simple with just some concrete or pavers or a deck or whatever that you're going to have for your entertainment area, and then just go from there, because there's so many different amenities that you can continue adding to the space that can really enhance it. Are you seeing a lot of people doing that same thing?
We are. That is a good point about being able to do it in stages. Makes a lot of sense. So if you do start with that patio or that deck and you outfit it this year with some simple furniture just to kind of get yourself started, you can always grow from there. One project that I remember was really popular was a deck that had then been converted later into a screen room. So you could sort of grow into that, but then know that you've got the space to go from.
Well, that's something that I see a lot too, and I caution people that, that they'll have a nice deck, and then, of course, the evolution then is, okay, it's too hot out here, I need to shade it. And I always encourage people to really think carefully about the roof they're putting over their deck or patio and make it really part of the roof line. Just don't do a little lean-to that you're not going to be satisfied with. But if you can incorporate that in the roof itself, then that evolution may continue, because you have the covered area. Okay, then you're going to screen it. Later on, you're going to go, you know what? We spend so much time out here. I need to air condition to heat this thing. So if you do it the right way, spend just a little extra time and money on it, then it can actually become a legitimate living space of your home if that need arises like that. We see a lot of people making that mistake and cutting corners a little bit there when they really need to think of it long term with that master plan.
Yeah, that's a great point. And that makes me think about furniture, too, that's indoor-outdoor. So if you start with good quality outdoor furniture and you use fabrics that are designed to be outside, you're going to be able to enjoy that setup for years.
Kit, what about garages and carports these days? When you talk to realtors and people are looking at maybe enclosing their garage, Do you think the trend still is people really wanting extra living space and sacrifice that car shelter, or do you think the car shelter and garage is still very important?
We think people still want that place to park their cars, but they're just figuring out really clever ways to make it multifunctional, so it doesn't have to just be a spot for the car. We've seen people convert their garages into space for a crafting room or a workout area, and we've even seen detached garages become things like home offices in the backyard, or some sort of dining place when you want to have a little more special place to entertain that's still on your property, but it's not right in your house.
Well, one thing we did there at the Cuppersmith project, it had an old kind of obsolete garage that we removed, and then we built a pretty impressive two-car garage, and then we built an unfinished place upstairs of that. And the idea being whoever bought the house could use that for a variety of things. Game room, mother-in-law suite. We roughed in plumbing. We had what we call a legal staircase going up there, not a ladder or anything. So it was an acceptable code compliant type of stairs. And when you fast forward to what's happened over the last few years with so many millennials moving back in with the parents and people moving in and others moving back in with their elderly parents and that combining of the generational living these days, that really worked out good. That was good thinking on our part to put that space there, because I understand the owners of the place now have a wonderful finished living area up there.
Oh, I bet they do. That was a good idea. And I think having that extra spot that's just a little bit removed, so there's a bit of privacy, is just really smart. It gives people extra space and makes them feel like they can get more out of what they've got.
Well, I know you guys have talked a lot about and seen a lot of the research about the almost phenomenon that's happened because of the pandemic and the number of people that are I saw something the other day, something like 25% of circular saws being bought today are the first circular saw that was ever bought by particular people. It just shows that people are embracing DIY work so much. They're, have the time to do it, or, during the past months they have. What do you think the lasting effect will that be? Do you think that that's going to has this created a new pool of DIYers?
I think it has. We have seen that people, having spent more time at home and being able to really evaluate what they've got, what they'd like to change, and then getting the sort of the courage to go ahead and try it themselves, all of that kind of played well together and has ended up showing us some really interesting projects. And I think people find once they try something on their own, they either watch a video or see, ideally read something in a magazine, see something online. Once they try it, they're kind of hooked.
That's right.
They realize, they can do so many other things.
Well, that's certainly what hooked me many, many years ago, in that instant gratification, you get, is you just can't beat that. Also, it doesn't hurt if you're saving a little money along the way instead of paying someone and you're doing it yourself.
That's true.
And nowadays you hear so many people talking about how hard it is to get people to do simple projects. And instead of me waiting for this, I did it myself, and I'm also doing this weekend. So, when you're hearing this feedback, and you guys have such a great source of feedback from your readers and your website visitors and so forth, it really gives you kind of almost an ongoing focus group of what's on top of people's mind. I love that, hearing back from listeners and viewers.
It's really fun to hear what people are doing and what they want to do. We really do pay attention to that kind of feedback and plan a lot of stories based on what's top of mind right now.
Hey, tell me about this, and I haven't seen it lately, but I know that Stylemaker, the magazine's hitting its 10th year right now, kind of ironic. How is that going? How has that worked? And how are things going with the Stylemaker issue?
It's great. You're right. 10 years for us, too. Our Better Homes and Garden Stylemakers are people who are creative, inspiring, and innovative, and they make some kind of impact on how we live at home. So whether that's decorating, gardening, cooking, being a parent, whatever. But it's all about having a personal style that's authentic and where we feel like we can learn something from them and sort of discover ways to give the things we do this fresh perspective. And we celebrate those people then every year in a special issue of Better Homes and Gardens and share some things online. But it's great. We're just always looking for these kinds of people with their personal style.
So, Kit, how can people find out more about Stylemaker?
Well, they can go to our website. It's bhg.com/Stylemaker, and they'll get to see some of our past Stylemakers, including those that we tapped this year for their expertise, and also find out more about how we look for Stylemakers.
Well, by doing that, they can probably get a little inspired, and that's something that is one of the foundations there at Better Homes and Gardens. You want to show them some pretty things, you want to show them how to do it, but you also want to inspire them and maybe nudge that reader a little bit, right?
You've got it. And it's all about giving them the tools they need to move ahead, empowering them in some way that they want to realize their vision.
Well, Kit, I want to ask you one last question here before we let you go. Do you miss the trade shows? Because I'm telling you, if I've seen someone that covered every trade show from one end to the other, you are unbelievable when you're at a trade show. Do you miss it?
I tell you, it has felt very strange not to be at a trade show in a long, long time. So, yes, I'm looking forward to hitting the floor again as soon as we can.
Well, I think it's just so cute when I see you with your notepad and it's full of notes and you're working the crowd. I just really I miss that, and I miss seeing you, and I hope that we're able to get back in the aisles of the trade show very, very soon.
Oh, I hope so too, Danny. It'll be good to see you again.
Okay, well, thanks so much for being with us, and we'll have to do this again.
Thanks, Danny. Great to talk to you.
And thank you for listening to this special Today's Homeowner podcast.